How was that? Did you like that? I think that was a pretty cool intro.
It's the best of intros, man.
Legit found it like a half hour or like, wait, 8 o'clock or something like that. And then I sent it to Slumber. I'm like, Slumber, yo, what do you think about this? Um, I'm thinking about getting it. And yeah, well, I was going to lower the volume, except it wasn't playing on my end because I didn't have it looping. And so I tried to mix it live, but it should be better for next time. Anyway, I liked it. Took like 20 minutes to render maybe, but totally worth like $30
Well, we
American.
just something we need before 2021 starts is no render times.
No
Like
render
that needs to just
times.
not be a thing anymore.
I don't even know if quantum computers would have anything to do with it, but we need like pocket quantum computers.
We need self-editing computers as well. Like that way I'll never have to edit a video again.
You know what? You laugh, but it's been done.
Has it really?
Legit. So I watched some guy on YouTube make this AI algorithm using machine learning to edit his videos, and it worked out pretty well. It was he would like match up his pixels and stuff like that, and I don't know, something about matching the previous pixels and stuff like that to figure out when he wasn't moving or something like that. I have no idea, but
I
it was
wish I
pretty
was
sweet.
smart.
It was pretty sweet. Anyway, welcome to the 6th episode of Dark Sessions, the spookiest of all sessions. If you don't already
The
know,
darkest of all sessions. Come on now. Come on now.
it's
You
the
gotta stay. You
darkest.
gotta stay on brand, man. You're gonna confuse people. They're gonna start calling us spooky sessions,
The
and then
darkiest
we'll
of
have
all sessions.
the
Is that what you
darkiest of all sections.
is? Is that what you
I like
want?
that.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Well, we'll rock it next time. Um, we're gonna be talking today about getting them collaborations because, frankly, the way that some people go about it makes me sick, and I would just like to, as the cool kids say, like sound off on that. I feel like that's maybe 10 years too late, but you know what?
What an opening. It makes you sick.
It does make me sick.
How sick are we talking? Are we talking like common cold, the flu?
Like explosive diarrhea
Oh
in a
shit.
shopping mall with no pants.
Dude, okay. All right, off topic. Can we talk about the toilet paper that they put in like Walmart stalls?
What, the one that's like the toilet paper that's thinner than air?
Dude, not only is it thin, it's literally sandpaper.
Yeah, you get some serious chafing.
I just don't understand it, man. I don't get it. Anyways, though, collabs.
Yeah,
Collabs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. As I was going to say, which I feel like I don't really have to, um, we're just going to talk about getting collabs, and Dark Sessions is a place for you to come and hang out and talk about all these things that we find interesting and everything else. I was going to say interesting twice, but I feel like that'd be bad. Anywho,
Say it 3 times. You'll summon something interesting.
if I say interesting 3 times, will Elon Musk show up and give me his prized possessions? Did you see the name of their kid, by the way? We'll get into it soon, but this is just
I mean, I saw it. I can't say I remember it.
it. It's like X then AE, that weird Unicode combined. A12, I believe.
See, it's gotta shorten into something though. Like I'm sure,
It's
what they'll actually call the kid is probably some traditional name.
like Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Bobbert.
Bobbert. I would call my kid Bobbert, just as a
Imagine
joke.
like going to class. My name is XAE12 of the seventh um dimension, but you can call me Bobbert.
Omicron Persei 8. Anyway, let's actually get into business here because I feel like people are going to be rolling their eyes into the back of their heads, and that just makes so for a bad time. So today, and with this conversation, um, I'm a small channel, but I've gotten requests for collabs. Surprising enough, it kind of makes me feel like I'm a big deal. And if I'm being honest, it's a bit hard to anchor myself down to all of your level and realize I'm just one of you and I'm, not that amazing. But
Yeah, as in like, you're basically on the same level as bigger channels because we're all just humans, is what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay,
I just have to
I
I
just wanted
just
to
have
make
to
sure I like
remember that
worded that
I'm
right.
not like better than you because I get
Right, right.
all of these requests, right? Like two we're talking.
Sometimes three if it's like a really, really fast-paced year.
Yo, if it's a good day,
if
if
it's if it's a good decade, maybe four.
yeah, I'll let you know in 2030. Yo, Slumber finally hit that fourth collab
Literally,
request.
dude, like every 2 years when somebody asks me for a collab, I just get so stressed out. Like
You just go AFK from like Twitter and YouTube for like 3 weeks.
every
Go
time
like
I've taken a break from YouTube, it's because somebody's asked me for a collab and I just can't cope.
just shut down. Anyway, the thing that I've mostly seen is like a lot of bad approaches to it. I think we touched on it in the very first episode. Oh dang, I should have got some water.
Yeah,
Um,
we like very, very briefly talked about it.
yeah, so we talked in terms of usually people's approaches to getting collaborations where it's like mass messaging, and I think that kind of goes along the lines of the mass tags in Twitter, like, hey, I just released a video, and you figure out like you're tagged in some dude's tweet and you've never heard of them before, and you're sitting alongside like 7 or 8 other people, all random.
Yeah,
I don't know if
lately I
maybe
get
that's,
one literally every morning and every night.
yeah. So the thing that I have with it, it seems like there's this misconception that you should just go and ask for collabs. Maybe that's what some people are cool with, sure, but I'm not. When someone asks me if I want to do a collab, I'll most likely say no because they're stressful and you didn't take the time to even get to know me. I want to be swooned. Like I want to be taken out to that metaphorical dinner and swept off my feet. If you're
Here's
going to
what you got to
use
do. Okay.
if you're going to use my
If you're
subscribers.
looking for a collab, here's what you got to do. Okay. You got to find the biggest YouTuber that you can think of. Whoever has the most clout, right?
Uh-huh.
You gotta like all of their tweets. Wait for them to follow you back, and then when that happens, instantly put yourself in their DMs and be like, "Hey, you want some clout?" And then ask them to hop on a video with you. And then after they say no, be like, "Okay, we'll just have to do it on your channel." And then when they still say no, just send them audio anyway. That's the way to go about a collab. You heard it here first. And then when they don't use your audio, you gotta make a public tweet about them
I'm, I'm just
and
gonna
call them out
yeah.
for wasting your time.
Cancel culture. That's I could just imagine you just sitting there like, here, just take this audio, just
Imagine like
upload it.
just DMing somebody that's never heard of you and be like, "Yo, want some clout?"
Yeah, he goes and checks out your channel. You got like 2 subscribers.
Just be like, "Yeah, dude, it's two more subscribers you could gain."
Yeah.
It may only be two, but I'm telling you right now, they're a pretty cool crowd. One's my
No,
mom, and the other one is actually like this actor from Hollywood who was in the background scene of one really big movie.
it's my alt account. I'm just there liking all my own videos.
I actually might have 3 subscribers by the end of the night because I made my dog an account,
Yeah.
and my dog is a very big fan of me.
He just literally hops around all day beside me. You see, I want someone to show up to my house outside my window with a boombox and start going, "Baby, lock the doors and turn the lights down low."
I think
And
that's
then
a great idea. You just tap on their window and then fog it up and then write
exactly.
collab question mark.
Yeah.
They might be really impressed about how good your backwards spelling is,
I'll
even
just
though
put a heart in the moisture on the window. Down to
yeah, I mean
record DTR.
that's definitely like really good advice. I think I think like this episode's already pretty much wrapped up with that.
Yeah.
Just be persistent. Like don't stop no matter what you do. Just
E-
keep on asking people until they finally cave, I think is the biggest
Even when they
takeaway.
block you, even
Yeah,
when they
if they
block
block
you.
you, it just means that they're, like, really excited for that collab, and they don't
Yeah.
want you to know any of the behind the
No,
scenes
they're just
until they
playing hard to get.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you have to have a little bit of mystery there, right? Or what's the purpose of doing it?
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, if they block you and start subtweeting you, it just means that, like, you're officially on their radar now, and
Yeah.
that collab is much more likely.
And I mean, any attention is good attention. So as soon as you notice that they've blocked you and they're ignoring you, you create as many fake accounts as you can and you spam them. You find them on Instagram and you spam them. You go and find them on Facebook and YouTube and the same thing. And you just constantly link your channel and say DTC down to collab. And then you just
Yeah,
let the
yeah, I
chips
mean,
fall where
like,
they may.
if they block you on Twitter, just start asking in their YouTube comments.
Yeah. And then
And
when they
make sure
don't
that make
reply,
sure that you say something about your channel so that people will check you out as well. I mean,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
two birds with one stone. Not only will your channel grow, but like you're just making that collab that much more possible.
You just have to make sure to return to that comment after a week and start calling out the YouTube channel for not recognizing a true fan. And then you're golden.
No, okay, but on a more serious note, so
Yeah,
you're
the
saying you
tangent.
want you want to be swooned, right? You want to be swept off your feet. You basically are saying that like you want to make sure that they're asking for a collab because they like you and not just because they're trying to grow from it. Is what I'm understanding?
Yeah, yeah. Like, and it's not even. I don't know. I don't have that much to offer in terms of subscribers and stuff like that. But it is like the channels lower than me that do ask for obvious reasons. Um,
Yeah.
but I want to like at least make me feel like a human being and not just some channel that has X number of subscribers that you want to exploit. For example,
See,
I had someone on Instagram message me and it was out of the blue and it was something along the lines of I'm X amount of subscribers away from 500. Will you be one of them? With these weird laughing emojis and stuff like that, trying to play it off. And that struck a nerve because no, I'm not going to be one in however many subscribers to your channel just because you asked and you know, invade my DMs out of the blue with no sort of introduction. Hey, how are you? Without even talking to me in the past. I'm definitely not gonna go look at your channel now if that's how you're gonna approach it. And let alone ask for a collab. So, funny story though, it all ended well. I guess we'll cut right to the chase. I ended up like I'm not one to necessarily I don't want to say snap, but like get at people. But I did with that guy because I was like, I see this is a teaching moment. See, this is not the
sure,
way.
sure.
This is not the way to go in and get yourself a collab. I'm like, I'm not going to go do that. I'm not going to give a collab to you just because you showed up out of the blue and asked me. So I literally told him essentially what we're going to tell you in this episode was cultivate relationships with people. You know, if there's a particular person that you would love to do a collab with, get to know them as a person. And if they don't ever ask you, who cares? Because you've got that friendship. And if you're not willing to put that work in, at least try to make someone feel special. At least try to be a good person. And I mean, at least disguise why you're really there, in my DMs and make me feel like you actually want to get to know me instead of my subscriber count. That's
See,
kind of
this is really interesting, and let me tell you why. Because okay, so jokes aside, being serious, right?
mm-hmm.
My
Oh
my
yeah.
opinion on asking for collabs is very opposite. So if somebody DMs me and they're like, "Hey, I hope you have a great day," or like, "How was your day going?" Or like, they're trying to open up a conversation. Hey, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I have closed DMs, so if you're DMing me, it means I must at least kind of know who you are, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Sometimes I just follow because somebody's really supportive and I don't know anything about them. I've never been to their Twitter profile. I have no idea. whatever. All of that aside, right? Um, and they're trying to build a relationship, and then a week or two down the line, or even a month or two down the line, they kind of feel like all of the conversation that we've had in the past, and I'm not one for conversation in DMs, so like this would never happen to me. But just putting myself in those metaphorical shoes, um, I would feel like that's being kind of fake, right? Like you tried to build a relationship, and ask for a collab later, and maybe it has nothing to do with that, but it's going to feel that way. So if somebody okay, so in my shoes, if somebody was to approach me for a collab, I think the best way to do it is to just be straight up front with it. Uh, have that first DM be something like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of your channel. I don't want to come off too strong, but it would be a dream of mine to have you on my channel. Is that something you're available for? Is that something you'd be interested in?" And I think that's so unbelievably genuine that the only way that I would say no is if I just don't have the time, regardless of who it is, regardless of what kind of content they make, because they were straight up front with me. You know what I mean? They're saying, "Hey, I'm a big fan, and it would mean a lot for you to be on my channel." I think that's in my eyes the best way to go about asking for a collab.
Okay, I see that. I'd feel pretty good if someone did that too. It would flatter me. It's the same thing, right? Just flatter me. But dude, like maybe what I said was exactly not the way I wanted it to be.
Hey
Cause
man,
yeah,
it's all live. It's never gonna come off completely right. You know what I mean?
yeah. Cause then if you're just talking to people for that end goal of a collaboration, and that's why you're becoming friends with someone, then it really makes that friendship disingenuine or whatever. Um, but I also think that's a good way to get your name out there. I guess at the very least, like none of the people that I've been featured on or the channels, like I've never asked, but I genuinely wanted to be friends with these people. My goal was never to get a collaboration. So maybe that's where I'm coming from, and maybe people doing it um might have ulterior motives. So maybe that's where I'm kind of, I don't know, confusing the approach. When I guess like when I approached, I didn't even really approach, but Southern Cannibal, he posted a tweet there and he's like, I want personal stories, like personal horror stories. Doesn't matter how big your channel is, just send me your personal story, and we'll go from there. And so I did, and things went great, and here we are. I
Yeah,
think,
I think really quick, one
sure,
important
yeah,
thing that I want to say before we get too far. Never this is like the big no, okay?
mm.
Never go to another channel asking to be featured on their channel. That
Oh,
like I can't
do
think
go
of a
on.
bigger turn off. Yeah, like if somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, can I be in one of your videos?" No. No, you can't. You actually can't. You know what I mean? But if somebody's like, "Hey, would you be down to be in one of my videos?" If I have the time, probably, probably.
Yeah, like do
And
may
if I enjoyed the collab and I liked the experience of working with you, there's a very good chance that I'll be like, "Hey, you want to be on my channel?" You know what I mean? It's like returning the
yeah,
favor. Cuz
yeah.
I don't know, like okay, so I've always had this philosophy, and I hope I can relay this correctly because it can sound very different from how I mean it.
Hey man, we're
A big
already like
channel.
knee deep in this.
Yeah,
Is this
so
exactly how it sounds?
a bigger channel working with a smaller channel can still benefit both sides. And it benefits both sides in different ways. So the smaller channel might get more attention for having that bigger name in their video. The bigger channel will be known as somebody who is open to and cool with working with somebody who is smaller. Now it's two different types of benefits, and as long as both are done genuinely and not for just to do it or for any malicious intent. I think it can very much benefit both parties because it's a good image for the larger creator and it genuinely helps out the smaller creator if everything's done right.
Hmm.
Um, and hopefully that that doesn't come off as like uh, I don't know. I guess I don't really
But
know
it's
how
a
else
PR
it could
thing.
come off, but
It's a
yeah,
PR
yeah,
thing.
PR thing.
For one, it's a PR thing. For the other, it's a genuine attempt to get more eyes on their channel. And I think
Yep, yep.
collabs are great. Like that's how I think I am here. Because you know what? I'm convinced the YouTube algorithm hates me, and I'm gonna run with that because that's just what I think. The collabs that I've done so graciously with other narrators are a reason why I'm here. And I'd hope that at least for them it gives them that image. You'll never really know if people will see it as that, right? Like we would like to sit here and say that being a bigger narrator gives you that um what am I trying to say? Perception of being open and stuff like that. Kind of like you hope as a big narrator it comes off as the as God, I'm tripping over my words. Can't figure out what I'm trying to say.
I kind of feel the same tonight. Dude, it's just one of those nights. Like it's something in the air.
It is something in the air. You know what I think I need though?
What's up?
I think I need a water. And I don't ever do this, just like peace out to grab a water, but I am gonna do it now because I am so cotton mouth. Let me let me collect my thoughts. Entertain them, slumber. Beer back.
Oh man, he didn't even like give me a topic to segue into or nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I see somebody in the chat saying like that uh Stories After Midnight and I both have the same concept. We just want people to be honest. And I think that's the main takeaway, right? Like if you're genuine, it'll be transparent. And if you're not genuine, it'll still be very transparent. Um Really all that I look for in a collab is just like a good experience, right? Uh, Most of the time, it's not even about growth. Something that I've really noticed is I'm not much of a collab person, and it's not because like I don't like working with people. It's mostly because I suck at it.
Can confirm I'm
But
still waiting.
what's up?
I said can confirm I'm still waiting.
Yeah, yeah, I just suck at collabs, man. I genuinely believe there's nobody on this planet that is worse at collabs than me. Like I can never get my shit together when it comes to collabs. Um I'm not going to say who even though it's already kind of public information, but this larger channel that I've been a fan of them for a very long time. Uh they
It's
asked me to
Swamp,
be on
isn't
one of
it?
their videos. No, 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 no. I was actually on Swamp's channel just a few nights ago. But
I know, it's a joke.
yeah, so somebody that I've looked up to for a
Yeah.
long time asked me to be on one of their videos. And I was actually so down, right? Like I was so excited. They gave me a week deadline to send back audio and I forgot.
Oh,
Like I forgot. So eventually the video went up and I was like, "Oh no." So I DM'd him and I'm like, "Dude, I am so sorry." He's like, "Don't sweat it." And you know, luckily I don't think he was mad at me or anything, but it's like, God damn it. Like that would have been such a cool experience just to say I've worked with the dude, but I kind of blew it.
hopefully that comes around. I have no idea who you're
No,
talking
yeah. I mean,
about,
like
but
it's all good. Like it's not the end of the world, you know, but
how,
it's not that I'm bummed that I wasn't in his video. I'm just bummed that I let him down like that
yeah,
cuz
yeah.
cuz I was so down. And then I don't know, man, it was a hectic week. Like I'll give myself that. It was a crazy week in my personal life and I just completely spaced, but
I get that
it
though.
happens.
Um, how do you feel with collabs when people expect you to send them audio? And the reason I ask this is because that's how most collabs work. And I'm thinking
You
about
mean like you find the story and you do everything and then just send them something, or do you
yes,
mean like
yeah.
yeah,
So like,
so
hey, send me pre-recorded audio because my my perspective for this is like the author gave you permission to read that story for your channel. Now you've went and sent it to someone where maybe their terms of acceptance would be different. So
Right. Yeah.
how would you go about that? Like, how do you feel about when collabs like that come
So
around?
the way that I've always done this, I'm not going to say that there's not a couple videos on my channel that were done that way, because there are. There never will be again. Um, but usually if I'm open to somebody sending me pre-recorded audio, a good example. So I wanted to do a mega collab coming into the new year. Now, I have a really, really, really hard time sourcing content from my own channel video to video. And I think there was 30 people. It was exactly 30 people
Like
that were
finding
down for the
stories?
yeah, like,
Okay.
sourcing content, being able to actually have stories to upload, right?
Right, right.
So
I've got
there
a
were
great
30
website
people
for
that
you, man.
were I already know what you're gonna say.
Continue on.
But anyway, so there were 30 people that wanted to be in on the collab.
Uh-huh.
So, I knew before I even set all this up that there was going to be I was guessing there was going to be at least 15, okay? I was like, maybe 20, maybe 25. Well, it turned out to be 30. There's no way. There's no way I could have sent all of them a story. Was not possible. So I made, I let all of them know you can send something to me pre-recorded as long as the author is aware. The author has
Oh,
to know that
yes.
it's going to be on my channel as well. I hope and I pray that everybody honored that. Uh, because I would hate to just get a strike on my channel for something that I did my absolute damnedest to do right. Um, but that's why the next time I do a mega collab, it is going to be either stories from my subreddit. Maybe what I can do is people can narrate stuff that I've already narrated from my subreddit for the mega collab, right?
Right.
Because that's something I could do. Um, the mega collabs, it's a longer video, so you reach an audience that uh, not necessarily is your own subscribers, because it's going to get pushed into the YouTube algorithm. So I think that's what I'm gonna do with mega collabs going into the future. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think as long as the author is aware, it's fine. But it's definitely something I will not be doing moving forward, and something I haven't been doing for quite a while now.
Mhm.
I think it's a way more better way to collab when it's like, "Hey, do you wanna be on this deep woods video with me? I'll send you one of the stories, you can record it, send me back the audio, stick it into the video, and off and away we go."
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the better way to do it. I feel very bad. Like, if I was an author and then it's like, oh, hey, my story was first recorded on this like 2000 sub channel and now it's also on a, I don't know, 500,000 sub channel. Like, well, wait a minute. Like, there needs to be like some sort of like reciprocation with payment, maybe if that's the way that they want to approach it. So I've kind of
Yeah,
felt like
because
if
everybody
I
has different
was,
standards.
yeah, I feel like I'm like shortchanging them, like I'm ripping them off by sending another channel audio that I have permission to record for my own. If like I think the easiest way, at least for me, if I was to do or be asked for a collab, is like just send me a story. At the worst, I could just maybe go find one and do what you said. And I'm only saying that now because that's actually a good idea. But I prefer it when people like send me something to read because then I feel comfortable. Like, okay, you have permission for this. Like, I can do this.
Yeah, and
Um,
then it's not even something you have to question, right? Like, if it's something you have permission for, you're just sending them the story to record it and send you back the audio. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, I think you should even go a step farther and let the author of the story know that it's going to be on your channel, but you're not going to be the one narrating it. A good example. Again, I'm terrible with collabs, so I haven't collabed very often. But even 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, I wound up getting really sick, and I had a few stories lined up. And one of my close friends at the time, he was like, "Hey, we were close friends, so this doesn't apply to what I was saying earlier." He said, "Hey, if you want to get a video uploaded to your channel, just send me something that you have ready to record, I'll record it for you, send back the audio. You can just upload the video to your channel, whatever. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. So I hit up the author and I was like, hey, just letting you know, the story is still going up on my channel, but are you okay with a guest narrator narrating it? It won't be on their channel. It's still going up where we initially intended, but is that something you're open to? And, back then, the whole entire way that things worked were a lot more lenient. So I think he was kind of like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he really understood what I was saying.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, yeah, that's obviously fine. Like, and I was like, well, I just wanted to make sure that, you were okay with somebody else narrating it, even though it's still going up on the Slumber Reads channel, which he was. So I don't know. I feel like I've always kind of been ahead of the ball on that type of stuff. But I was really shocked when I found out how many channels just use other people's, previously narrated stuff. And
Mm.
again, it is something I have done from time to time. I have not done it often at all. I think maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe, possibly,
Like
maybe
when it
4.
comes to
I would be
uploading a
severely
video,
surprised if there were 5.
like uploading a
Yeah, like
video where someone sent you audio, like out of their
no,
stash, or
yeah, we're like previously recorded audio.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
stuff that's already been on their channel, and then they just send it to you to upload onto your channel as well.
Hmm.
I was shocked how many channels operate that way, and like really really well respected people too. And I'm not saying that that's something that is necessarily bad, right? Like as long
No.
as everybody's aware and cool that that's how it's going to be done, and that's fine. Plus, like I don't know how other people do their permission requests. I know some people when they do their permission requests, they also ask for the rights for their narration. Um, and what that means to me is that, the author still owns the story, of course, but now the narrator owns their narrated form of that story. So their voice over that story is owned by the narrator. That's how my subreddit works. So let's say you hit me up and you wanted to do astral projection stories. I could send you something from my subreddit because I would be the owner of my narrated form of that story. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know if the people that do collabs that way also, get permissions that way. I would like to think that they do, but I don't know for sure. I can't really say.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll ever really know, and it's frankly not our place to try and like judge or like cast any sort of um slight at them, but it's just for like me. I feel slimy kind of doing that. Like I'm, trying like I'm slipping underneath their radar, or I'm trying to pull a fast one by them by sending someone else pre-recorded audio. And is that even genuinely a collab, or are you, it just doesn't feel like a
Oh
genuine
yeah,
collab.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
just
No,
send you
I know
something
exactly what you're saying.
like
And the thing is, it's one of those things. It can come off so malicious,
yeah,
but it's just something that's not talked about, something that hasn't really been addressed on a major scale. Um, and I think once it is, which I think that'll be one of the next things that gets brought up is exactly what we're talking about right now. I think eventually, I think that'll phase out as time goes on
sending people
as
audio for collaborations.
pre-recorded audio.
Well, yeah, sorry, that's what I
Yeah,
meant.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there was a story that I got permission to read, and actually, I want to touch on this a little bit. So, help me remind me. And it's basically asking permission to read a story and then not doing it. So, I
It's an
actually,
interesting one.
yeah. So I had a collab that I was doing, and it was a new format that I was trying, and we got onto a call on Discord, and I read the story with them. Like I would narrate it as I would for my own channel. And then when it got to their parts, which were highlighted in a Google Doc, they would add their bit. And then I would continue on, say my parts, until we got to their part. And the purpose of that was to kind of see if we could get more emotion, capture more emotion in the reading if you're actually able to play off of someone else. This has nothing to do with asking for collaborations. It's just something I was thinking about. So, uh, it's interesting because I feel like that could work out. Just
Yeah.
as an aside, like I think it would be cool to do like a long story with maybe a few different parts, and you're all on a call together doing the story live with one narrator and then your characters. That's an aside, but I think that'd be cool. Anyway,
I
on to that
think
other
I think when
topic.
it comes well, really quick, when it comes to saying that you're going to narrate a story and then not doing it,
Mm.
um, I don't know. I
Like, do you feel bad
keep in
about it?
mind I've told easily probably a couple thousand stories on my channel. I don't think I'd be exaggerating. I really don't. Just with what's still public after the whole entire issue with my channel, I think there's still probably around 1,000. So keep in mind, I have narrated a lot of stories. So when I say this, it's not as bad as it sounds. I think there's only been 2 or 3 stories that I have said I was going to narrate and then not done it. But
Really?
it's usually because, they go back and edit it to make it more dramatic, and it's something that I don't want to have on my channel. I've had that happen, 'cause, and you know what? They're totally within their right to do it, it's their story, right? But,
Hmm.
like, one good example is, I asked somebody if I can narrate their story, they were totally down for it. They said that they wanted to edit a few things. Well, the things that they edited into the story made it, like, kind of unusable for me because it kind of trudged into some topics that um, I won't do. There's a lot of topics that I will do that other people won't, but there are some that I just stay away from.
What are the
And they
ones
added
you
in
stay away from, if I may ask?
uh hmm, it's it's tough, right? So if something is I think the key word here would be detailed.
Hmm.
Detailed.
Hmm.
Child abuse. Stuff along those lines.
Gotcha.
I usually won't do if it's detailed. If it's implied and the story's not about that topic and the story is still good aside from that, I'll probably still do it. But if it's something that like is detailed and a huge part of the story, I usually won't. I usually won't.
Yeah, no, that
Again,
makes sense.
unless the story kind of trudges into some different topics that have nothing to do with it. But that's what they did, so I wound up not narrating it. And then they were really upset about it. And, of course I felt bad because I said I would, and I kind of explained to them why I didn't. And I don't know. I mean, again, it's their story. They can do whatever they want with it. It's just again, the things that they changed wasn't really something I wanted on my channel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for your channel, and you can essentially like rescind your request, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Um, I've come across a few where I've read, been like halfway through recording them, and I've been like, yeah, okay, this isn't actually for me. Whether it be because of like
Well,
sexual
yeah, there's that
content.
too. That's
eh,
what I was going to say too. Is like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off,
Oh, go
but
for
I
it.
would say like the other couple times where I've wound up not narrating a story is because it sounded okay in my head, but it didn't sound right coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know,
That's
and
interesting.
that happens. That happens. I mean, it's not like I'm going to record the story and then ask for permission.
Oh,
Like, you know how
geez,
much
yeah,
time I
don't
would
do that.
waste? Like,
Don't ever do
it'd
that.
be insane.
Yeah,
But yeah, there have been a couple times where it's like, "Oh, this is a really good story." And then you narrate it and it's like, I don't think this is up my alley,
I
I
was
don't
like,
think this one is really on brand for me, And that's okay. That's all right.
yep,
But I think that's where it's tough too cuz it's not like you can really message the author and be like, "Hey, actually I decided not to do it," because then you're going to start making them be like, well, what did I do wrong? Was it something I said in my reply or I don't know. I think you see what I'm saying though.
yeah. No, I see. You put yourself in a very awkward position because you've asked for permission, which probably makes the author feel pretty good. And then when you get reading it, right, and you just figure out it's not for your channel, and then you decide not to do it, you kind of like feel like you're letting down that author.
Yeah.
And that's I guess kind of what I worry about is like, are you gonna hate me for this, or am I gonna hear about it? Are you gonna smear me on different forums or like subreddits and stuff like that? Um, but I mean, it happens so infrequently that it's just not really something I worry about. But it is something that I do think about and wonder how other people approach it. Because like there are stories that I'll, like I said, get through, and I'll be like, this is either bad writing or it's just not flowing when it comes out of my mouth. And or even like, for example, like what I said earlier with the sexual content, literally getting halfway through it and it gets a little bit detailed. I'm like, okay, this is not something that I want to read, just genuinely because I feel like I would be stepping into some like 50 shades of gray stuff if I, with this deep voice, started word for word, action for action, started narrating some sex scene. That would just be
Yeah.
weird. But
Yeah.
there
Well,
are
yeah,
times that
it's
I just, decide to pull the plug on it. And if the author says, "Hey, what happened?" Well, I'll let you
I
know when
will
that does
say
happen.
the times that it has happened for me, I'll usually message the author again and just be like, if they've got other stories, I'll try and find one that is more up my alley and be like, "Hey, is it okay if I narrate this one instead?"
Hmm.
Because I think that's the best way to go about it. And again, I mean, it's only happened a few times out of easily over 1,000 encounters that I've had, you know? But
I'm learning so much tonight. These are
yeah.
things I never thought about actually doing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something to keep in mind. Like if you ever get permission for a story and then because like moods change too. Like sometimes something sounds like a good idea, and then the next morning after you've had time to think about it, you're like, actually, you know. But like you've already got the author expecting it. Just hit them up and be like, hey, is it okay if I do this one instead? You know,
Yeah.
and then
Could you
just
try
hope
to
that they say,
maybe
well, you
like
can do both. And it's like, well, I really like this other one more. So,
maybe like make amends
I don't
type
know.
thing, right? Because it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
down
Well,
where I would
because
just feel bad.
Well, when it really boils down to it, okay? Um, like I like to think of myself as an okay writer. I've narrated many of my own stories on my channel. Some of my biggest videos are stories that I wrote. Um, but that being said, I would not come anywhere close to uploading at the velocity that I do without the authors that allow that to happen. That's why it's so important. It is so important to do right by your authors
Hmm.
because, especially, well, I mean, not even just especially in this field, it is vital because that is the people that are supplying your content. And if you burn too many bridges, I mean, yeah, you can go somewhere else, but I mean, you got to be careful not to burn your bridges again, and eventually you will run out of bridges.
And you
Only
just
so many
don't want to
bridges
burn
can be
them.
built.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and you
just
don't
don't
want to
want to
you don't
burn
want
them.
to burn them. You know what I mean? Like don't do anything shady. Don't do anything like if you ever have to second guess something, just don't do it. I think is a good rule to live by, no matter what scenario you're in.
That's just general good life
Yeah,
advice, I think. For most things, I think there's obviously going to be the exceptions, but
common sense
that's
that isn't always so common.
yeah, no, that's a really good piece of advice though. When you're talking about asking to do a different story, because it kind of shows like you are interested in their writing, and we all make mistakes and whatnot, and a story just doesn't turn out to work. That just happens. But at least with them, they'll be like, oh, maybe they can see it as a way to make amends, right? Like, is there something else I could do? The story really didn't fit when I was reading it aloud. At least if I was a writer, I would kind of want that. And when it comes to burning bridges with authors, they're a tight community. And just like the narrators, for the most part, I think are a tight community. And you have to rely on each other. You know,
Oh
y-
yeah. I
y-
mean, like word gets around. Like
it does.
if one narrator does something, I would give it a week before everybody knows.
If
Like,
a narrator does something,
yeah, well, I mean, like anything.
oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
like
if
something bad
somebody
you're talking about.
or good,
Okay.
like, okay, say somebody ends up on the no sleep blacklist.
Yeah.
It doesn't take very long for everybody to know about it. You know what I mean?
Do you think
Like
so?
just as an example. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How so?
Well, I mean, I don't know, cause people talk. Like,
Okay.
um, okay, so I think people have this impression that all narrators talk to each other 24/7, and I wouldn't say that's true.
No.
But there definitely are cliques for sure. And some people are in multiple cliques. So somebody says something and then somebody else is like, "Oh, hey, did you hear about this?" And then the word just spreads and everybody knows about it before too long.
Yep. Yep. Well, the thing is, like, you need to be on the good side of the authors, and the authors should be on the good side of narrators, because frankly, from one narrator and aspiring writer, very loosely, we all need to have that friendship together because we rely on them for their stories, right? But their
Yep.
stories will never be brought to life and given the same sort of emotional impact that a well done narration can bring. And it may just seem like we read stories
Eh,
off a page, and we do, but there's so much more to it that adds more life to that story. Like, why the hell do we have movies in in that situation, right? When we could just read the book, because
I think it's
movies bring so
dependent
much
on
more to
the
it.
I think it's dependent on the author's wishes. Sometimes this is gonna sound really, really, really off brand for me, but there are many stories out there that don't translate in narration as well as they do in reading.
No, that is
Um,
true. Like, what I'm saying, just so everyone's clear, this is not like this is concrete. This is just generally what I think.
yeah,
But we'll
yeah.
reiterate that at
No,
the end of
yeah,
the
I mean,
podcast.
there's a lot of value in narration for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's uh, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, no matter what part of the day it is, even if it's night. Um, an author's story is the author's story.
Yes.
They can do whatever they want with their story. If they want to give a narrator exclusive rights to a story, that's up to them. If they
Oh yeah.
want to allow multiple narrators to narrate a story, that's up to them. If they want to allow nobody to narrate their story, that is up to them. You know what I mean? It's totally their thing, and that's why it's so important to do right by the authors because again, let's just say all of a sudden all authors across the planet decided no more narrations, we're done with it. That is within their right to do that. It would suck. It would be terrible,
Mm-hmm.
but it's within their right to do it. And yeah, then I would probably start doing 3 single story uploads a week of my own writings,
Yeah.
and who knows how long I could keep that going, and
Yeah.
who knows if people would still be interested. I can tell
Definitely
you
have to
without a
brush off
shadow of a
that pen.
doubt. Yeah, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, my channel would not be as successful in that format as it is currently.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really know how to word it any better than that.
Yeah. No, I think you worded it perfectly. We need to maintain those relationships. You know, I guess you could kind of think of it as some sort of collaboration, and out of these good friendships, like we mentioned in previous podcasts, like audiobook narrations can come out of that. But if you have a bad relationship with a particular author or a set of authors, the word I'm sure will go around depending on who they are. And if, they're the kind of person to post about that. And then that will taint your reputation and will likely hinder who gives you stories and just makes your job harder. So you always want to err on the side of caution. You always want to be just friendly. If you operate just being friendly and courteous and kind, you'll be in a good light with everybody, and it will
Yeah.
actually play
Well,
very well with you.
something, and you know what, this is on topic of the podcast. It came full circle. Technically speaking, not always. There are creators out there that do everything from scratch. But technically speaking, pretty much every single video is a collab. Um, even if okay, so even if I write a story and I narrate my story and I take my own stock footage, um, it's still technically a collab with whoever composed the music that I use, technically.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
if you want to get really
you know what
bare
I mean?
bones technical, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't have the talent to create my own ambient sounds and stuff. Maybe that's something I should get into. Maybe it is, but I don't, as it currently stands, have the talent to do that.
Hey
So
man,
that's still
just do
technically a
whatever's
collab.
best for your channel.
And um, I every single story that you use from any author is a collab. It is by all technicality a collab. So, it's stuff to keep in mind. You don't want a bad reputation.
I think it's very important, like just how you carry yourself. I know we've said it time and time again, but how you carry yourself and your reputation will mean everything. There are authors that I've messaged multiple times asking to read their story. I've never messaged them before, and they come back saying, I would be absolutely honored if you would. I've heard of your channel. I love your stuff. You do great work. I would be beyond honored if you would read my story. And
Oh,
that's the best
100%.
feeling because like
Yeah.
word spreads around, right? I'm sure that good narrators and bad narrators get get their names shared amongst whatever groups may exist with these or with these authors. For example, like the blacklist or whatever, that you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
narrator blacklist.
Mhm.
That definitely I'm sure spreads like you said. But also, word does get around. Like I've had posts from uh color blindness. It was a big thread. But he called me out and said, if you're ever looking to um, you know, if you're looking for like a list of well done narrators and stuff, here's a list, and I was one of them. And it just goes to show, like, if you play your cards right, and if you're just a good human being and you try to do your best, your name will get around, and your reputation will grow. Now, that may not necessarily mean that you're going to get all the collabs in the world, but it's not going to hurt your channel at all by any
Yeah.
means.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so even the shortest of interactions can lead to much more in the future, and you never know when that will happen. A really good example and super super recent. I reached out to this author. He had this really really fucking sick story, right? And I was like, "Oh man, I hope I hear back on this one, right?" And I did. And I narrated it, sent him the link, and he really enjoyed the narration. Well, he posted like 4 more stories to my subreddit because he wanted to hear me narrate his older stuff too. And, not only that, I got a few comments on my video saying like, "Oh, hey, my friend wrote story 2 and, I have some stories too I might send you." Well, just from having one good interaction with one author, I got like 9 more stories.
There
You
you
know what I
go.
mean? And
Let the
that's
collaborations
awesome, man,
begin.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like he totally put me on, right? Like,
Hmm.
let all of his friends know about it, they had stories, and it's like, that's not something they had to do. I'm really grateful that they did because that's like 2 videos, you know what I mean? And that goes so unbelievably far. Even sending in 1 story goes so much farther than people think.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's only like 5 minutes, right? Like there's been a few times I've got the, hour deadline. I won't post anything under an hour unless it's a single story upload, which I don't do very often. But there's been times where like I'm 3 minutes short and I'm like, "What now?" You know what I mean?
What now?
So then I gotta
I
I gotta dust off my old pen and write something up, you know what I mean? Which is
just
which is cool because it's, basically forces me to write more, which I definitely need to do more of. Um,
You
Lately
ever
I've
get
kind of fallen
self-conscious
back
about your
into
writing? Like maybe your writing is just absolute garbage and you should probably quit everything you love doing?
I have learned to not think too much about it.
Oh,
There
preach.
was one story I wrote. It was called whoops, I just dropped something. One story I wrote called The Backroads of Minnesota. I got done writing
Oh
it
boy.
and I was like, "Man,
Uh-huh.
this story's garbage." I was like, I don't know." You know what I mean? But then I was like, I don't want to just scrap it. And I have so many scrap stories. I have like 40 or 50 stories that I've wrote that have never been narrated. Haven't even posted them anywhere. But I was like, "You know what? I'll post it anyway." And as it sits right now, it's one of my most viewed, regular videos outside
Wow.
of, like, my long compilations. Yeah. People loved it. I was like, "That's insane. That's crazy." And then another one that I wrote called The Runner.
Okay.
Um, I was really proud of that one actually, and it again did super super well. So I don't know. I try not to think too much about it, and I think it's because I always tell people like, the more you think about it, uh, the thing is when you overthink something, it'll start to get better, and then if you're still overthinking, it'll start to get worse.
I
So
overthink everything, bro.
so do I. So do
Literally.
I.
Like
So like
crazy.
when I finish writing a story, I'll run through it again. I'll change up anything that I think could be touched up on, and then I'll run through it once more, and I just leave it. I won't do anything else. Even if there's something that I'm like, oh hey, maybe I should do this. I'm like, nope, nope. That's how it is now,
This is
and that's just
wisdom.
that's just how I do it. Now
Yeah.
I'm not saying that works for everybody. That's just what I do.
No, I fully agree with that. Like I really can't even add on to it because that is very much how I think we should do things when it comes to even our narrations. You just do the best that you can, and even if you think it's bad, always use some discretion. I want to say that. Don't just be like I I think this is terrible. I should upload it. I use some discretion, and if you actually do think it's bad, and if you actually do think that there's places to improve upon it, do improve upon it. But don't improve upon it, I guess, in like a circular motion where you're constantly trying to make it better and better and better and better. At some point, you just have to say, you know what? I'm just going to throw it up there and let's see what happens. Like, I'm in the middle, like, I've always wanted to write. I've got, I'm sure I can come up with some pretty weird story ideas, and it's just always been a fascination to whip up some mystical adventure and put it down on words, but I've never been the best writer. So I'm in the middle of writing a story right now that's kind of been on my mind for months, and I really wanted to write it out. But I literally overthink everything from the first word. Is this cliche? Is this cheesy? Am I using the wrong words here? Is this a run on? Am I using the punctuation correctly? Are people going to think this is stupid? And that literally just runs through my head, literally after every word.
You
And
want to
it's
know what I do when I write? This is going to be so frowned upon. As a matter of fact, I probably shouldn't even say this. What I do when I write, okay? Maybe wait until like 4 or 5 p.m., and then I just start writing, okay? Just I think of an idea, and I just run with it. Run with it. Think of that opening sentence, a main theme, and just go. Every single story that I've ever posted to my channel that I wrote myself was written within a few hours.
legit from start to finish.
Yep, yep, and they
Now,
usually come out anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes.
okay, that's what I was going to ask.
I try to not think too much about it. The main things that I try and do, I try not to say "I" too much, and I try to, kinda have a little bit of an opening sequence, tiny bit of buildup. I try not to have too much buildup, and then,
Like
the
an
main
EDM
main
song that never
theme.
seems to drop.
Yeah. Then, like, the main theme and then the closing. I
Yeah,
kinda have, like, one format that I stick to for everything, but it's just a format that I've found works for me. I don't know, it just works super well. But then the next morning, I'll kinda read it back over and then do what I was talking about earlier, the 2 read throughs, and then I'm set. I just leave it how it is, narrate it, upload it, and, I feel like either my subs are too nice or I've just done okay so far. I've never had anybody complain about anything I wrote, so
that's what I think. Y'all are just here to stroke my ego, aren't you? That's what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
4,022 of you just sitting here like, you know what, guys? You all got like your Facebook group. Let's just make him feel good. Maybe this week we'll comment on his how he says about, or maybe we'll rip into him about how he says bagel.
Bagel.
That's a slight because I know it's a joke, but no, I don't believe that for the record. So when it comes to the technicalities of a collab, and how you're doing a collab with the author and this, that, and the other thing, what would you say is the best way to go about a collab? Just as like a singular point of truth, if someone was just listening, in your eyes, what would be the most effective way for a new channel to maybe get in the eyes of someone they admire or a channel that they look up to that they would love to work with? Like, do you have sort of maybe a way that you think they should go about it? And I know you did mention um being straight up about it, but do you want to kind of solidify that again just in case?
Be genuine. It's really like the main thing. Again, it's different for everybody, and I hate saying that because it makes it sound so unbelievably daunting. But again, I'm only one person, and my outlooks on this might be different from other people's. But if you want my opinion, my take,
I do want your
never
hot
ask
take.
never ask anybody to be on their channel. If you're looking for a collab, ask for them to be on your channel, because asking to be on their channel just seems so unbelievably clout grabby. You know what I mean?
Very much
But
so.
aside from that, what I mean by being genuine, even if it's your first time talking to them, just be like, "Hey, I'm a really big fan. It would be a dream of mine to have you on a video. Is that something you'd be open to? If not, it's totally cool. You still have me as a fan." Actually, don't even say that. That sounds even worse. Let me back up. Okay. Hit them up. Be like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. It'd be a dream of mine to have you on my channel. Is that something that you're open to? Let me know, blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah blah, whatever calls for the scenario."
Yep.
Um, I think that's the best way to go about it. Again, I know you were talking about being swooned, and I think you can be swooned and ask for a collab all in one. Just opening a message with like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of your work," or "Hey, it would be a dream to have you on my channel." That's already enough. You've already broken the ice.
Yeah,
Just
you've made me
just be
feel good at that point.
yeah, just get to the point. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
want the collab, if you want somebody to be on your channel, just ask. Don't do the whole entire how was your day going? And then the next day like, "Hey, what are you up to?" and then ask for a collab because it's like now everything we've talked about in the past is just thrown out the window.
Yeah.
You've literally just tried to build up a connection to ask for a collab. Whereas if you would have just done that from the beginning, that would have just seemed a lot more genuine. And again, everything is so scenario based.
It is very
Sometimes
scenario
that's just
based. Yeah.
sometimes that's just how things work. You know what I mean? Like maybe somebody tweeted something and you were just wondering what they meant by it and you DM them about that, and then a week later you decided to finally ask them for a collab. I That doesn't come off as disingenuous. That just, comes off as being real, being honest. And again, I think that's just all it comes down to. Just be genuine, be real about it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to collab just to collab. There's nothing even wrong with collabing just for growth. There is nothing wrong with that. But you've got to be in it for the right reasons.
And I want to clarify, like when I say being swooned and stuff like that. Um, sorry, I don't even want to clarify that. I wanted to clarify my position. When I go and cultivate these relationships and these friendships with people, it's never to the end of a collab. If that is an outcome, that's great. But I genuinely like to get to know people just to get to know them, get into like the community, get to see what it's made up of, like who's here and whatnot. And if collabs come out of that, that's great. But if they don't, that's also okay because I'm there to create those relationships. And I think those relationships work and work for me in terms of getting collaborations because I feel like I've built a friendship with these people and I've never explicitly asked, nor is it my want or intention to get a collab with them or whether it be on my channel or their channel. But like you said, if I do believe I have asked, but it's always been, hey man, would you like to read a story for my channel? Like, something to that effect. Asking them to do something with me, not hey, can I be on your channel?
Yeah.
Because like you said, that it does come along or it does come across as like uh very rude if you're like, hey, I want to be on your channel, like can we do something, blah blah blah. Because that's just not going to be nice. That's just not
Yeah,
going to be nice.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that's
and
like, that's kind of where I come at it now. What you said too, which is very much appropriate for me, would be um just making me feel good. Are you a fan of my channel and you want me to be featured on it? Like, I,
or do
at
you
that point
just
I'd feel
respect
like
the
a
content? You know what I mean?
man, I'd
Like
feel like a
there's
superstar.
many people that like I'm I respect them. I respect their content, but I'm not necessarily a fan of their videos just solely because it's not up my alley. It's not something I would watch. But I respect them as a human being. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Now,
So, I mean there's always that too.
so there's a couple different avenues you can go. Just make sure that you're doing whatever you're doing for a genuine reason, because that will carry a long way. We've done like almost an entire podcast episode, I think, on being genuine. At least it feels like it. Um, but I had a question for you, and it's, what if someone asked you to do a collab? They were a fan of your channel, they buttered you up, but their audio and their presentation just wasn't good.
I think if it's up to the quality that they posted on their channel, fine. I knew what I was getting myself into. I'm not gonna say yes to a collab if I haven't at least watched a few minutes of their channel. Um, but uh, well, I suppose in that scenario I'd be asking them, so I don't think that would ever be an issue. But if they obviously didn't try and they expect me to edit everything, and I know that their presentation is typically better than that, I I don't think I've ever had this happen, but I would probably just tell them to process their audio. Like, what are you doing?
Well, like, what
Like,
if
it sounds
I?
so good on your channel, but you're gonna send me this? Like, you want me to edit all the audio? You want me to
Mhm.
process it? Like no, no. Like, if this is a collab, like, do your part. Like, what
Well,
are you
like,
doing?
so for example, like, what if I came up to you and I was recording in a trash can with a bunch of cats in heat in the background and someone mowing the lawn through the entirety of the video, and that's how every video was. So my audio is complete trash. I can't make it better because of circumstance. And I go to you and say, Slumber, if I could, I would marry you someday because I'm a huge fan of your channel. Would you do me the honor of being on mine?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So,
mean, again, if like I don't know. I mean, it depends on the scenario and how well I know and stuff. But
mhm.
uh, generally speaking, um, I mean, if it's on their channel just because they have bad audio, it's not going to affect me in any way.
Okay. So what if someone, you agreed to do a collab, right? And I'm just speaking hypothetically, and I feel like I know what your answer would be, but say they just send you bad audio, and for whatever reason they can't edit it right. Would you say maybe next time, or would you still take it?
I would just tell them to do a retake. I don't know, man. I'm super blunt. I would just tell them that their audio's trash, do better. Like, I don't know, man. Like if I don't know, man. That's like one of the biggest forms of disrespect. Like if somebody has just this golden crisp audio on their channel
Yeah.
and then like, you respect them enough to be like, "Hey, you want to be on my video?" and then they just send you some hot garbage. Like, nah, dude. Like you're re-recording. Like we'll still do the collab, but
you're
bro, like,
you're
what are you
re-recording
doing? Like,
until you get it
is this a
right.
joke?
Yeah.
Like
Am I a
like,
joke to you?
are you messing with me? Like, where's Ashton Kutcher at? Like, am I getting punked? Like, what is this
Just
shit?
start going on Twitter, like tagging them, being like, I'm being punked right now. Y'all listen to this.
Just put him on full blast.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know, man. I'd just be, like, super blunt. I don't know. But there's some people out there where oh god, this sounds so egotistical, but there's some people out there where their bad audio is their trademark. So if that's something that I know going into it, that's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't ask if I wasn't okay with that. But again, if it's not up to their normal standard, I
Yeah.
think that's just disrespectful. I would never send somebody something that I've recorded if I wouldn't upload it to my own channel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have nothing more to say to that.
Okay. I actually have one more
Yeah.
really good topic that is totally on par with this.
Yeah, man. No,
Um,
have at
I
her,
think
bud.
this is just because of the way that I've always done things. I'm known to not be much of a collaborator. People know that about me. I suck at it. I am very open about how bad I suck at collabs. And in a way, I think that kind of makes when I do collab a little bit more special.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's only solely because I suck at it. In my case, I notice a lot more up and coming narrators coming to me for advice rather than collabs. Um, and people might kind of look at me and be like, "Oh, wow, you literally do nothing to help out the smaller guys." And um, I'm not gonna say that I do a lot because I just think that sounds so unbelievably egotistical. But I can tell you I have sat in DMs with probably like 50, 60, maybe even more narrators over the years, over the course of my time on YouTube, um, offering them advice, telling them what I know, and trying to help them out. And I think advice goes a lot farther than a collab. Again, you can do both. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in it to grow your channel, if you're asking for the collab because your intention is to grow your channel, I would say the better route to go would be asking for advice because that's going to go so much farther. It's literally uh like what is it? Like fish for somebody, feed them for a day, teach them how to fish, feed them for life or something like that. I don't remember exactly how the saying goes, but it's
Yeah,
it's
you
basically the
teach a
same
man to
philosophy.
fish. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fish for a demand, he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life.
exactly. And again, there's nothing wrong with collabing for growth.
Well, collabing's
But
an investment, right? Collabing is an investment in the other person. I think if the channel, like in your eyes, if the channel could use it, giving advice is going to take them a lot further than a collab. It may sure give them a boost in views and internet clout and whatnot, but if you
clout
act
tokens.
clout tokens, if you actually teach them something that they can then use and implement in their future videos, I think that goes a long way. It's like a behind the scenes collab. Like you
Yeah,
helped me with
yeah.
my audio, man. Like I will be eternally grateful.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did help you with your audio, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I also helped you with the monetization thing. See, I do things.
Yeah, so
I'm
you're
not I'm
you're
not
just
completely awful. I'm not the
no,
worst human being on the planet.
not entirely useless. You do bring some value. It's just more behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah. Which I feel like I don't know, that's just the way I've always been. But
No, I appreciate that. I To me, I don't think like if someone's going to take the time to impart their knowledge to me about how I can improve what I'm doing, if you're going to take the time to do that, that means more to me than you asking me to be on your channel. Cuz I just send you audio. You just slap it into your Audition, your Reaper DAW or Audacity and you just export it and have at her. But if you actually take the time to share what you've learned over the years with me in order to like make me better, in order to invest in what I'm doing, that means so much more to me than just slapping an audio in there and giving me some internet points.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know, like a good example, when I was coming back to YouTube after my 6-month hiatus at the end of 2017. We're talking early 2018 is when I came back. Um, I noticed that there was a huge up and comer. Guy was killing it. He had like 30,000 subs. His name, you guys might not know who he is, but his name was Swamp Dweller.
Oh,
uh,
swamp.
yeah, good old Swampy. He was killing it, man. And I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, you got any advice for somebody trying to come back into this?" And I feel like that was one of the smartest things I have done as far as like interactions go, because he gave me some rock solid advice. I mean, he gave me some advice that I had never even thought about in knows how long it would have taken me to figure it out myself. So, shout out to Swamp Dweller because he really helped me out. And that's why I say like advice can go so much farther than a collab. It really, really can. But again, there's nothing wrong with collabing for growth. I can't stress that enough. And just to collab, there's nothing wrong with collabing really any way that there is to collab. It's just I feel like advice goes farther.
I would feel much better about someone randomly hitting me up out of the blue asking if I have advice to help them. I don't think there'd
Oh,
be
definitely.
any sort of situation where I would say no. I don't know what it is. But when it comes to people asking for advice, like, yeah, man, I'll give you advice. This is what I know. I'm sure there's something in there that's deep and philosophical, but I don't know. That's just it. But before we
I was gonna say
close,
something, but I've like totally spaced.
okay, you know what? I feel like this episode has been like not a chore, but it's been trying. Like I feel like I'm just scatterbrained tonight. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't seem to be as smooth as normal, or at least as smooth as I think it is. But I wanted to
I
ask you.
think we've done all right. But
Oh,
anyways,
thanks,
what's
man.
up?
Uh, give us three concrete things that you
Mm.
should not do when asking for a collaboration.
Oh man, that's the big old repeat ski. Um,
Yeah, just
okay,
just three
so
concrete things
just
you
just to
shouldn't
lay it
do.
all out.
Now, hey,
Never ask.
we did what we
What's up?
should
What's up?
do. You know, this is what we think you should do. But what should you not do? What would be something to absolutely avoid? And if you can't come up with
I
three things, that's
mean,
fine. Just give us
well,
something.
it's kind of what we already said. First and foremost, never ask to be on somebody else's channel. I don't know, man. There's something about the way that that portrays that just seems so disrespectful to me.
Yep.
Maybe I'm weird for thinking that. I
No,
don't know.
you're completely
We're
right.
all individuals, but in my opinion, just don't do that. Just don't. Um. Uh. Two other things to not do. Don't come off not genuine. I'm just just reverse the main point for the dudes.
If
And
you
the
hey, if
third
you've
one,
only got one, like that one is your big one, and that's the main thing to avoid, we can just call it right there.
I really think that is just the big one. But you see, you've put me in a challenge now, so I've got
Hey,
to think of a third one.
okay.
I just
Well,
have to.
I'll give you the space.
Ooh, actually, don't ask for collabs publicly.
Oh, that is a good one. Like on their
It is
channel.
a very good one. On their channel, on Twitter, uh, I mean, I think hmm, there's okay ways to go about it. Maybe somebody commented on your channel saying, "Hey, Slumber Reads, it'd be really cool if you collabed with Stories After Midnight." So
I do
maybe I
appreciate those
screenshot
people.
that comment and I post it on Twitter, and I'm like, "Ha, wouldn't this be cool?" At Stories After Midnight. And I think actually,
well, we
now
already
that I
have
say
that
it out loud,
relationship.
now that I say it out loud, now that I say it out loud, I mean, let's just say we didn't know each other is the metaphorical. Uh,
Why am I here? Who are you?
wait, who
All
is
right.
this?
I'm in
What?
character. Let's go.
Dark Sessions? What is this?
Where am I?
Let me out. No, no, but I think that can be okay. Maybe. Again, now that I say it out loud, I think that's still something to stay away from. I think it might just be a golden rule to not ask for collabs publicly.
Because it's like
I
the
really
same
do.
thing. Remember at the beginning of the show when I explained that one guy slid into my DMs and just straight up asked, I'm X number of subscribers away from 500. Will you be one of them? I feel like that's kind of the same thing, playing it off as a joke, legitimately asking, but rather than being in DMs, it's public. It just kind of seems slimy.
Yeah.
Just
See,
like
I don't know
I
though.
don't
Like, I've
slimy
I've
to me.
had people I've had people ask me for collabs publicly, and I can say it's never really bothered me. Um, I'm fairly easygoing. It takes a lot to get under my skin.
Well, you're just a better
That
person
being
than
said,
most.
I can be pretty soft, so maybe that's why. But
Yeah.
um I don't know. Um, I'm not gonna say who, but there was one person that publicly asked me for a collab over on Twitter. They basically said like, "Hey, some people have been commenting on my channel saying it'd be really cool if I collabed with at Slumber Reads. How cool would that be if he was down for that?" And I don't know, man. I was in a mood that morning. I just was, and I hit him back. Like his tweet was probably up for 5 minutes. I was like, "Let's do it." And we actually lined up the collab and did a collab on his channel and my channel same day. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I could see how it could bother somebody else.
Maybe I'm just a prude, man. Maybe what the kids said in high school, they were right.
People called you a prude growing up.
Legit got called a prude in high school. Made me feel
How does
sad.
it feel to be like a kid being called a prude? Because when I think of a prude, I don't know, man. I just think of somebody elderly. Like it just seems like a really outdated word.
A prune?
Prude.
Okay,
Prude.
yeah, okay. I was like, yeah. No, man, it sucked. And then we just like looked at the definition of a prude, and then I just got sad. Now I'm having flashbacks.
It was the worst time of my life.
It's high school. Well, I think that's all I got today, man. I think that's all I got. Do you have anything else you want to add before we move into the live streaming portion of the show?
I think we really kind of hit on it all. Like, I don't know.
Collabs are simple and they're complex. Just
Yeah,
just don't
yeah.
be a dick and treat everyone genuinely, and you'll be golden. And that's it. You don't have to overthink it. It's not overly complicated unless you make it. Um, I think there's, especially with what you've said tonight about approaching people with collabs, I think that's been very solid advice and advice that I can very much agree to. And
Really quick, I think we
sure,
need to throw out the disclaimer that we do every single episode.
if you
Everything that
would.
we've said tonight is not gospel, okay? It is solely our opinions, and just like anybody's opinions, our opinions could be very wrong. And if it's something that you want to apply, go for it. If you want to apply it in your own way, that's great too. Um, we don't have all the answers, but these are topics that are fun to hear other people's perspectives on. Um, like tonight, me and Stories After Midnight, we had very close to the same perspective, but there was some minor differences. There's things that he would be okay with that I wouldn't, and vice versa. When it comes to people reaching out to us for collabs, and that's just the individual in all of us, right? So again, our word's not gospel. We're not doing this podcast to say that we have the answers because, if we had all the answers, we wouldn't be human. And I think that's really about it. I like to throw out that disclaimer because I just imagine the day where somebody tweets at me on Twitter and they're like, yeah, this guy's full of himself. He actually has a whole entire podcast where, he talks about all this stuff and thinks he has the answers. When that's not the case. I am literally just throwing out my opinions on whatever topic we have. And if it helps out anybody, it makes it worth it. And even if it doesn't, if it just entertains people to listen to it, then that's cool too. And yeah,
Well,
I think that's really the end of the disclaimer.
just so you all know, you've all officially been collabed because here we are trying to give you advice. So congratulations, you've collabed with Stories After Midnight and Slumber Reads all at the same time.
This is more collabs than I've done in the past like 2 years, all in
You
one
and me
night.
both, man. Congratulations. Anyways, thank you very much for listening to episode number 6 of Dark Sessions, all about collabing, as you know, because you've sat through an hour and a half of it, so you know what the topic was. But thank you for listening on this very dark night where I am. I'm not sure where any of you are, but anyway, we'll see you next Friday, 9 p.m., for a topic I don't know yet. I feel like I say that every episode, and you know what? I think it's going to become a thing. So we'll figure that
We
out during
fly
the
by
week.
the seat of our pants. And you know what? I think that's actually the best way to do these
Just no show
cuz
notes.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like the more time you have to think about a topic, the less I'm gonna say the word again, genuine it becomes. Like if
Man, it
we find
helps
out a
me.
topic the night before of the podcast, it's like it's all off the dome. It's more real. It's more like just as it comes advice or conversation.
Yeah, I do show notes like the day of or the day before. Quite literally how it works.
I don't think we even did them tonight.
No, there were no show notes tonight because I was 95% lazy and I knew that I didn't need any. But I feel like I should have. I feel like tonight I was a bit more scatterbrained than most. But before we ramble on, I'm just going to officially end the podcast portion of this because I'm sure if you're driving in your car, you want us to stop talking already. Just kidding.
Somebody's sitting in their driveway right now and they're like, "Come on, I want to go inside." I'm like, "My
Why
dinner
am I
is getting
still
cold."
listening to this? Yeah. So if you want to listen to the podcast version because maybe you're some sort of masochist and you like to sit through an hour and a half of talking, you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. The three, well, I would think is the three big ones. I know there's a lot out there, but if you like the cut version in terms of the actual podcast, the meat and the potatoes of the episodes, you can find it there. And if you'd like, if you're listening to this podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Dark Sessions, where we live stream each episode and answer questions and generally just talk with the chat afterwards. So if you're not here and you're just listening to the podcast, thank you. But also, you should probably catch us live and talk to us. So 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. I hope we see you there. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Stories After Midnight, joined by Slumber Reads, as always.
Yeah.
We will see you next week.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, so that's that. Do you guys have like any questions? You guys have been chatting up a storm.
You know, I've been wanting to talk to chat tonight because I think this is the most active chat we've had on any of these podcasts so far.
It is. I'm so happy you guys are all here. And no, it ain't over yet. How many of you saw the new intro? Did you like the new intro?
You should play it again.
Okay, y'all want to see the new intro? Here we go. You actually won't be able to hear us, and that's by design. Now just
We'll be right back after the intro, by the way. So don't leave us. I'll cry.
all right, here we go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn this down a touch so it's not blaring your ears. All right, here we go. Don't look. It was looping in on itself. It's being dumb. Pretend you never saw that, okay? Show nothing when playback ends. How about you just keep going? Restart playback when source becomes active. I think I like that one. Okay, let's see if this works. There. Don't you say there was nothing there. It showed and
There's a
stuff.
bit of a delay on the stream because I even was waiting for it and I'm like, where is it?
All right, well, pardon me. Yeah, no.
But
I
I
hope it
think
worked.
it's currently playing, which means that by the time that they hear us talking, it will
This
have already played.
we are in the future is what you're saying.
We are in the future. We're in the future by like 30 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Well, the future's great.
Ram's like, holy shit. We should see if there were any questions or if anybody actually better yet, the chat's still pretty active. So if anybody has any questions currently, feel free to toss them at us and we'll answer them in 30 seconds because that's when we'll see it.
Yeah, yeah. What do you want to talk about, yo? Let's go.
For 30 seconds? All right, bro. So check it.
Mic
I got
check, one,
nothing.
two, 1, 2.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Hey,
Are we just gonna start
yo,
busting out
squad.
rhymes?
It's like, dude, it's like, it's like the other day when we were talking about uh, man, there's no way to even segue into that conversation without like having to add full context. Just the way that we started that last podcast, man, that was legendary.
The last one before this?
Yeah,
How do we start?
we were talking about like, yo, who's here for the wine test?
Yeah. Can I get a shout from all my parishioners up in here?
Yo, who's up in the choir?
I remember that. That was good. I
It was
enjoyed
a
that.
strong start.
Yeah. I would say they want us to rap, but are we really gonna pull out Corpse Wife so soon?
I think we should, man. I honestly think the longer that we wait to start up an underground rap career, it's like the longer that we wait, the more underground it will be. And
Now,
eventually, when you're underground enough, you're not even like
would you
above
then like
ground
be in
anymore.
China?
Like you're
Because
literally under it the whole time. And it's
so
scary and it's
my
dark.
my question is how many teardrop tattoos do I have to get before I'm legit?
Face tattoos. You're not
Yeah.
talking about just body tattoos?
No, like face tat, the teardrops.
Face tats. All right. So here's the thing. You get one face tat. It's like you're just trying to be a part of something, right? You got to get at least, I'm talking bare minimum, like 20.
20 face tats. So are we talking
Yeah.
maybe like 5% of your actual skin is showing?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe even 4% because 5%'s an odd number and you don't want to be the odd man out, you
Oh,
know? You got to have everything in your life be even because the more even that you are, the more balanced things will be.
so you
And
want to
you don't want
balance
to.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So an even number of teardrop tattoos at least.
Yeah, yeah. Like maybe just teardrops going all the way down to like your nipple or something.
I mean, I
You can
guess
be like, it's still a face tat. Like that's where it started.
you just never wear a shirt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically speaking, you can get like a tattoo on your arm and be like, oh yeah, it just fell off my face. And I think, that's enough to kind of solidify yourself in the face tat gang.
You know what? I don't even know if I could
I
do
think
that.
they'll respect it. They'll be
I
like, yo, literally, like your tattoo fell off. And it's like, yeah, man, it was the craziest thing. I literally just barely caught it. And now it's on my forearm. It was wild.
Did you actually slap your arm? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Respect, man.
Sometimes actually, I think you heard my chair creaking, but I'm going to go with it because if my chair creaked at just the right moment, it just adds on to the joke.
Oh, now the joke's ruined because you explained it, right?
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Things are so much less funny when it's explained.
Yeah. I feel like I'm such a wimp that I would much rather just try and pass off like tattoo sleeves, like the literal physical sleeves that you can pull over your arms as real tattoos. I don't think I could get one. Maybe I could, but maybe I could get like
It's interesting. Like it's kind of
get
like
a slumber reason on my
fake.
buttock.
It's kind of like fake gauges, right? Like when people stretch their ears, but then some people get fake ones. I remember for some odd reason, stretching your ears was so big in high school, back when I was in high school. So
Hmm.
I still have stretched ears to this day. I've never taken them out or I've never even like got them bigger. I think I'm at like a 0 gauge right now,
Can I
which
swing on them?
no, I can stick a pen through it. Is about the size that it is.
Okay, so I can't
So
exactly swing.
no, not quite, not quite.
Okay.
But it was very popular for people to put in fake gauges because they wanted to feel hip and cool.
Yep.
But they got roasted on so bad if people found out that they were fake. And it was usually really easy to tell because it would like cover up more of your lobe than it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's kind of the same thing with like fake sleeves.
I'd probably laugh at someone, but then I'd be like, "Hey, where can I get those? I need some friends
Yeah.
to. I need some internet clout." Can you
I
like?
remember one time I put a padlock in my ear, and it was my padlock, and one of my buddies locked it, and I couldn't get the combination because I couldn't see it. So I
How do
had
you
to
explain that one to your parents?
no, dude. So I asked my teacher if I could go to the bathroom, and she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, you see, I've got a bit of a dilemma here." And I turned over, and my padlock was going through my ear, and she didn't know what stretched ears were, right?
Yeah.
She freaked out. She was like, "Oh my god, who did that to you?" And I was like, "No, it's fine. I have stretched ears. I was just being stupid. I need to go to the bathroom so I can have a mirror and take it out because my friends are being too stupid to just take the combination and do it for me."
Uh,
And she was like, "Oh my god, you're gonna be bleeding everywhere." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, I just need to go to the bathroom so I can take it out."
Calm down, Karen. It's fine.
Yeah, dude, she freaked. She freaked out. It was
Did
pretty
you
funny.
did you know that Eminem was married for a year to the same girl?
Well, I'd hope he wasn't married to two.
True.
I, I, I don't know what the last part of that sentence had to do with anything. Do you know that he was married to one girl? Like, no, dude, I thought he was just like
He's a
running a
polygamist.
thought he was just being a pimp, was married to like 9 of them. I don't know, like, what?
They all mix my music. You
Who
know
was
what?
it? It was,
As funny as it
uh,
sounds, I've actually thought of
what's up?
like recording music.
I've thought of it too, because it's like, I sit in front of this microphone pretty much all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
Whether I'm playing video games, recording a video, doing this podcast, like, I'm sitting in front of this microphone a lot, and, it's like, what haven't I done with this microphone? It's like music.
Mm-hmm.
But low key, I actually have recorded a few songs.
Yes. Yep.
I
Same.
have. I
Yeah.
have. Um, I'll probably never drop them. Probably never ever.
Mhm.
Especially now that like a lot of other people are doing it too. I feel like now I would just look like I'm hopping on a bandwagon. But then again, I don't know when that ever started bothering me. It's like I don't care. What are people gonna say? Like, oh, you're doing this because they did it. And it's like, no, dude, it's totally not because I just wanted to, right?
And
Like that's never been a thing.
if you want to
I
own
don't
some
know.
prime real estate, dude, start doing some country.
I think I'll take a strong pass.
You would. You don't have the stones or pop.
I don't have the southern is the problem.
Yo, you don't need Southern man. It's just covers. Just do covers, and that's it. No, you
Ah,
you don't need to hear.
I think I'll take
Don't.
a pass.
Uh.
I think I'll take a pass.
I actually recorded one song just for kicks, and it was "I See Fire" by Ed Sheeran. But I've never really written my own stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff that I've done with self wrote.
Wait, what? Oh, self
Yeah,
wrote. Said
yeah,
like
yeah.
self wrote, and I'm like, huh?
Dude, it was so throat, bro. I
It's
was
self,
like,
bruh.
so throat.
Shaka, bruh. You're from like South
Just
Park.
yeah, it's like it slowly gets less and less like uh understandable. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, bro, so dope. Yo, bro, it's that. Yeah,
I see.
bro. Just gets worse and worse as it goes.
Yo, but you know what? In Ah. In reality, though, doing a Southern accent, man, you can do it. Like, I'm sure you could do a Southern accent right now, couldn't you?
Hey, listen here, feller. I ain't never done no southern accent before in my life, and I ain't gonna start doing it now. Cause you see, the last time I did a southern accent, I was going down that gravel road right down yonder, fucking tripped right in the ditch. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You would think them ditches, dude, you go down it easy, come up it easy. Nah, dude, it's literally just all dirt, fucking cow shit. Dude, I didn't even have my boots on, and I lost my tennis shoe. I went down to reach for it. My whole arm dropped down in the cow manure. I don't even know whose cow it was. It's a ditch. What are they doing? Driving down the road with their pickup truck, fucking shoveling it out into the goddamn ditch? Dude, I swear to God, I'm gonna find that man. I'm gonna shovel it right down on his doorstep. Sick of it.
I don't, what area is that from?
I have no idea. I think it started off southern and it just slowly got worse and worse as it went.
What? He does not sound Canadian. This is how you sound Canadian, eh? You got to talk in a little bit of a Newfoundland accent. I'm going down to the house with my mate or with my friends, and we're gonna eat some poutine. I went out in the boat with my horse. That was good.
Poutine, that's like fries with gravy, right?
And cheese curds. Can't forget the cheese curds.
Gross.
I have my cousin. I have cousins, aunts and uncles' cousins live in Texas. It's funny getting to hear their accent. Because no one else like has.
People in chat are saying that that was scripted. No, I'm just that stupid, to be honest.
No, that was pretty good, man. I enjoyed
Was it?
that. Dude, I was busting a gut, and I'm not sure if I was busting a gut over the accent or the fact that I was absolutely sure you were winging it and it was just hilarious.
I was definitely winging it.
No, that was actually great. I feel like you should
Dope.
just talk in one of your southern accents. Sounds like you're talking with a pair of giant dentures.
See, all of my videos used to be improv back in the day.
That's how it should be.
Yep. I used to just come up with a story idea. I just run it.
I used to do a bunch of impressions in college, and one of them that I did the most for whatever reason was President Bush. And then they eventually started calling me Mr. President.
Hell yeah.
It was actually kind of funny though. It was like one of those things where college was actually useful for something.
You
It
should
gave me
have
some
became class president and then still ran with it.
yeah. Have you ever seen you know what? I'm going to say have you ever seen there's a comedian who did an accent and I forget who it is. It was old, like I don't think it was Dana Carvey. Oh man, you know what? I just pigeonholed myself because I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the comedian that did an accent like that. Whatever, forget it. Y'all, I need to teach you things. What you got to teach us, sister?
I am intrigued.
Yeah. What are we being taught? You live in
Yeah, accents
Texas
are
and
interesting though,
don't have an
because
accent. Well,
like
see,
I live in Minnesota, but people never ever say that I have a Minnesota accent.
no, you don't
Like
really
people are
have
always
that
surprised to
much.
hear that, and it's like, no, dude, I was born here, grown up here, always lived here.
I feel like your accent's just not that thick, though. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I see
it's probably because I played so many online video games. It's just a mix mash of everything at this point.
you're like a Dr. Pepper of accents.
Yeah, it's like 23 flavors and none of them are good.
23 accents and all of them are bad.
23 accents, every single one of them suck.
My cousins who live in Texas, they actually don't have that thick of an accent. It's only on certain words, vowels and stuff. But
Yeah, I definitely say my O's a bit Minnesotan. I think that's the only one that I get caught
your
on. That
your
and my A's
O's,
actually.
A's.
Yeah.
Do you like doing impressions like
You know,
actors? Do you have any good impressions? Like any impressions you like to do?
not really.
No.
Not really. I usually just wing it whenever the occasion comes up.
All right. Well, there's the key to life.
I don't know.
Winging it.
Growing up I wanted to be a voice actor,
Mm.
and something that somebody said, you can do as many impressions as you want. It will never help you get a voice acting job. Because it's like what? Like you can do a perfect Peter Griffin. What's that going to do for you? There's already a Peter Griffin.
So this is
You know
spoken
what I'm
by
saying?
someone who just clearly is adverse to fun.
A who what?
You know, when I hear that you're not supposed to do impressions because they won't help you get a voiceover job. I think maybe you should, just for fun. That's just what I think. I don't know about yo. For fun.
Sure. If you say so, man.
I like doing them. I
Hell
don't.
yeah.
I'm tired, man. You
I
guys have
got a
like,
few, but they're a bit embarrassing, so I
yo,
try and
go. Yo, I just did Christopher
nah.
Walken. I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could top that.
Nah.
No. Wow. Look at this, boys and girls. Call them out on Twitter.
We want to hear your impressions.
I want to hear your impressions. Yeah, we'll start up like a Dark Sessions impressions. Ooh, did I just create something? Dark Sessions impressions, dude. This is where we'll sit down and just do impressions.
It's an
Someone do
opening
Christopher
bar
Walken.
for our
I
next mixtape.
I did do Christopher Walken. Unless you're just now hearing the Christopher Walken, in which case ignore what I said.
She's giving you shit, dude.
See ya, Margbot. Thank you for stopping by.
Catch you later, Markbot.
Bye. I don't know, man. I'm stalled. I'm tired. Anything you
Yeah,
want to
dude,
say?
I'm tired too, man. Like there's nothing lamer to talk about than a sleep schedule, but man, I've been waking up at like 7 a.m. every day, and being somebody that's used to getting up at like 7 p.m., it is a trip. Like it is so bizarre. Like I
Isn't
didn't
it
even know what the
great?
sun looked like until like 4 days ago. I was like, oh hey,
That's what
that's
you
been a
are.
thing.
Oh, actually, you know what? Speaking of the sun, I was actually watching this very interesting video. It's by Because Science. That's the YouTube channel, and it's about what if the sun exploded. And I always thought,
I
if
think I've seen that video.
yeah, if the sun exploded, you would think that it would just shroud everything and we burn, right? Yeah. But the cool thing is that the neutrinos would be the first thing to kill you. And you know what blew my mind so much more is you would have to have, so neutrinos are very, very small particles, I guess. I am not a scientist by any means, but very small particles. You've got about, I think they say like 70,000 of them passing through you at any given moment. You stick out the palm of your hand and you've got like 70,000 neutrinos passing through your literal hand
Big
without hitting.
Newtons,
No, not fig Newtons, neutrinos. And
the nutrients in Fig Newtons.
no, nutrients in fig Newtons are not called neutrinos.
What are they
Neutrinos,
called?
nutrients in fig Newtons. I
I
don't
don't
know,
remember if
man.
that's what they're called, like
Dude,
the mini Pop Tarts.
no, okay, why are we talking about? I'm trying to explain. Like, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a doctor. But you
I
got,
don't know what engineering has to do with cooking.
but think
Anyways,
about it.
okay,
Think
carry on
about
with
it.
your story.
Think about it. Okay, so neutrinos are so small, they can fit through the particles of any substance, from what I understand. And so you've got
Okay,
like millions and billions and trillions and bajillions passing through the earth, and they're not hitting anything, right? So they said that you would need a piece of lead about, I was like 100 times our solar system in width. And if you shot a neutrino through that, that is how long of a piece of material you would need before the neutrino would actually hit a particle. And so I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Neutrinos are so small, uh, where they just pass through the very particles that make up your hand, and they don't actually hit your hand. They just glide right through the microscopic spaces within your complexion, and that blows my mind. That blows my mind.
yeah, I was having a hard time following along. I think it's time for sleep.
The neutrinos would like shoot out from the sun in such a high velocity that the earth would be burnt to a crisp and everything obliterated before you even knew what happened. So
That's terrifying.
if the sun does explode in our lifetime for literally whatever reason, you won't even know. It's all good. But it would take at least 8 minutes for you to see the light produced from that explosion, because light takes 8 minutes to travel from the sun to the earth. So now you know.
So if information travels faster, if it takes the information 6 minutes to travel and the light 8 minutes to travel, you got 2 minutes
What?
to do whatever you want.
I don't know what you're saying, man. I'm not an artist.
I grew up in a small town. Word travels fast. I would definitely know about the sun blowing up before it even did.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know what to say to that, except I'm tired and my throat's raw. So I think we're gonna end it here. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed this dark sessions after the podcast, and I very much do appreciate you coming by, and I hope you enjoyed the talk that we had. So yeah, I'm not a mathematician, but I do know that red is red. Okay, well, that's it. Slumber, anything you want to say? Parting words of wisdom, memes,
Uh, Not really. Dude, I'm
Okay,
tired too,
bye.
man.
Yeah.
It's been a long night.
All right, well, for realsies, I'm going to go
But
hang up now. So you guys have a great night. Thank you very much for joining. Um, I hope to see you next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, for some topics yet to be thought up. So have a great night, a great weekend. Stay safe. Don't get the sickness. You can get down with the sickness if it's by Disturbed, but don't
come on,
get
get
the
down with
sickness.
the sickness.
Oh, okay.